Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here and welcome back to the workbench for another unboxing. This week it's the NHS Charities Together BAE Hawk from Airfix. So join me as I take a look inside the box and see what this kit is like. So straight off on the front of the box we've got the standard Airfix red livery, but we've got these rather two interesting looking BAE Hawks as depicted on the front. So back when the COVID pandemic originally started, Airfix set out to create a competition to allow someone to design some COVID NHS related livery. So what we've got here, the first one in the front is the competition winner, and then the second one underneath was the one that Airfix designed themselves to sort of promote the campaign. So sales, or a portion of the revenue from sales of this kit have gone to the NHS Charities Together COVID appeal. It says here £2 from the sale of this product will be donated to NHS Charities Together. So a reasonably good cause. Down here we've got a product code which is A73100, and flipping over to the back we've got nothing on there. Edges feature the same information you can expect to find on any Airfix box, including contact addresses and a logo down here saying we've got some cartograph decals. Flipping over to the other side we've got two paint schemes included in this kit. So, as previously mentioned, this is the winner here, Jeff Elliott, and he designed this in 2020. And then the other one is the Airfix design. And then we've got some information about the kit. We've got length, width, and a total number of 59 pieces. A selection of Humbrol paints that you might want to go and buy, but obviously they're not included. It's a skill level 1, apparently, so shouldn't be too difficult to build. And we've got one flying hour coupon, which if you cut out and keep, you might be able to redeem against further kits if you remember the club. The small edges of the box feature the same images on the front. So without any further ado, let's get inside and see what we've got. And as usual, we're going to be looking at the instructions first. And we've got the normal format from Airfix, which is information about the actual Hawk at the top here, and some safety information down the bottom. Flip over the page. Some more instructions that is worth reading, and then a key to the different symbols. And then we get into the meat of the actual kit itself. So those of you who've built the Hawk from Airfix before, you'll realise that this is the exact same normal instructions. There's nothing different here than there would be normally. I mean, on the front, it just says Hawk, it doesn't say Charity Together. It's got the correct item code, but other than that, I think that's all they've changed. So, paint the pilot, stick the pilot in the cockpit with all of this other stuff. There's some decals by the looks of it to go in the cockpit as well. Carry on down. If you want to put the landing gear up, you need to install that part in the nose, but it seems a bit early to be telling me to do that. Add the fuselage halves together, and don't forget to add 5 grams of weight in the nose if the landing gear is lowered so that it doesn't sit on its tail. Turn over the page. Air intakes, don't forget to paint the inside of those. Add those to the fuselage, glue your wings together, add your little bits under the wings, cockpit canopy, tail surfaces, add the wings, not too difficult by the looks of it. Turn over the page, you can have, I think this is an air brake, you can have it open or closed. And then moving on down, we're adding the landing gear. This looks to be quite a smart way of doing it. So this bit here, you can just paint that all in one colour and then it just glues straight in there. You don't have to worry about some fine paint skills. And then add your landing gear. Turn over the page and add your landing gear covers. And that is pretty much it. There's nothing on the back. So yeah, reasonably easy to follow. Not quite to the same standard as some of the more recent kits from Airfix in the sense that there's like more multicoloured stuff going on. But you know, these are quite easy to follow, so you shouldn't have any issues. So talking about the paint schemes, you do actually get a nice little glossy sheet of paper which is printed in full colour. And the first one we've got here is the Jeff Elliott design, so the competition winner. A few selection of paints here. We want at a bare minimum a white and a blue. So you can do those two different colours, top and bottom and on the sides. But pretty much everything else, so like the rainbows and the insignia, is going to be done by the transfers. Flip over to the other side. This is the Airfix design, and it's very similar, if I'm brutally honest. It does seem to have less sort of transfers, but it does have some more blue paint. But they are quite similar, but, you know, different enough. Yeah, so I do quite like it when they put in these colour painting instructions, because it makes it quite easy to do what you need to do without picking the wrong paint. And let's now look at the transfers. And being made by Cartograph, they should be to an exceptional quality. And I think, actually, given the nature of this kit with all these different colours, this is a really good example of how well made the Cartograph decals are, because you can see that the colours on here are absolutely outstanding. The printing is effectively perfect. I can't see anything wrong with them. No registration issues. It is a very impressive test of their printing capabilities. So at the top here we've got common transfers, and they look to be just the ones for inside the cockpit. So depending on which one you want to pick, that one will be used either way. And then the top one here, this is the competition winner. You can see there is considerably more transfers for the competition winner one rather than just the generic NHS Airfix one. So depending on which one you wanted to do, if you don't really like transfers, you might want to go for that. Or, you know, I think this one has less painting, so it's sort of a swings and roundabout sort of deal. But yeah, that is some very impressive looking transfers. Cool, so with that out of the way, let's look at the bits. And contained within a plastic bag, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 grey plastic sprues, and a 5th, which contains the clear cockpit canopy. There we go. So let's take a look at the clear one first. There we go. So this is very well moulded. It seems crystal clear. There's a few little imperfections on that one there. It's quite oily. It's very oily. There's a lot of mould release on that. That's going to need washing off, I think, before I build this one. Yeah, that feels very oily. But you can see on this one, they've actually moulded in the... oh, it's like the explosive cord for when they eject, I'm pretty sure. So when the eject... in the event of an ejection from the aircraft, I think this is like an explosive cord which explodes the glass, so when pilots go through it, they don't hurt themselves. But yeah, generally it looks quite nice. It's well molded. Nothing really to complain about other than it's quite oily and I will need to wash it. Next one, let's look at the smaller sprue here. Everything's quite well spread out on these sprues. The moulding is quite good again. Not a lot in the way of detail, but the detail that is there is quite crisply moulded. Again, a little bit oily. They've used quite a bit of mould release, so this will need washing. No flash on this one that I can see. But yeah, it's various cockpit parts and wheels and the control panels. Cool. So let's look at this other one now. This has got the underside of the wing. The mould quality is up to the standard expected from Airfix, and there are raised and recessed details as appropriate. There's the pilot. Let's have a look at the pilot. There is a bit of flash on this guy that's going to need cleaning off, but the moulding is quite good. I would use that pilot. I've seen considerably worse. Where's the other one? Is there only one? Or did I miss one? Well, isn't that fascinating? For a two-seat aircraft, there is only one pilot included. So if you wanted to put someone in the back seat, you're going to have to find your own pilot for that. That's a bit of a shame. I don't think it would have been too difficult to put two pilots in this area here. But oh well, it is what it is. And we've got some more detailed parts there. A little tiny bit of flash on this sprue that needs cleaning off. Here are the fuselage halves. These are okay. Recessed detail again. And flipping over, there's a little bit of cockpit detail on the inside, not a great deal, but it's alright. I mean, you're not going to really be able to see that anyway. You can see these ejector pin marks here. If you're really fussed, you could remove them, but I'm probably not going to bother. And then the last sprue. You've got the wing halves here, and again there's some more internal detail. Flipping over. Yeah, generally it looks quite good. Some small details here. Be careful you don't misplace them. And then you've got your landing gear legs there. They look alright. Generally, not a bad looking kit. I've not actually built one of these yet, so it will be interesting to see how well it builds up. So, only thing to take away from this is it's quite simple by the looks of it. The detail is okay. It is a little bit greasy, so they've used quite a bit of mould release when they've been releasing it from the moulds. There's only one pilot figure, which is a little bit upsetting because there's 2 chairs. And other than that, not too bad. So to recap, we've got 4 grey plastic sprues to a good quality, a little bit of flash, but generally okay, and 1 clear one, which is quite good, but there are a few little imperfections in places, but generally I don't think you'll be able to notice them. We've got a beautiful set of cartograph decals, colour painting and decal placement instructions, a fairly easy to follow set of instructions, all of which comes contained within the standard Airfix box with this rather attractive image on the front. So let's talk about this kit. At the moment, as it stands, at the time this video was made, you'll be looking at spending about £15 for this. £14.99 is the RRP on the Airfix website, and £2 of that is going to the NHS Charities fund thing. I would like to point out that there is a bit of discrepancy with how this has sort of been indicated on the website. On the website it tells us that there are 24 parts inside this kit, and also when they announced this kit back at the beginning of the year they told us that it would have 24 parts. 24 parts would mean that it would be the starter set version, which has been newly tooled this year / last year, with a display stand included in it, so it would be a simple build with a display stand. However, as you have evidently seen in this video, this is not the starter set version with the display stand included. This does have 59 parts, as it says there. There we go, 59 parts. So there is a bit of a, I wouldn't necessarily say it's an advertisement issue. I would say maybe that they've just put the wrong information on their website, or they've announced the wrong information. So when I initially made my launch video over 6 months ago now, I'd said that this was going to be the star set version with the display stand, which it clearly isn't. So Airfix has given us a bit of bad information. I would have liked to have seen this as the starter set version with the display stands, because I think in the flying poses this will make quite an attractive model. However, because there's no display stands included, and I don't even remember seeing the option to include one of the Airfix made display stands, you should have little holes to drill out in the bottom of the fuselage. That's not included, so that means that you pretty much, unless you make your own display stand, going to be stuck with putting the landing gear down and displaying it on your shelf that way. So that's probably the way I'm going to end up building this. But the tooling of this kit dates from 2012, so it is a little bit older than the one we were expecting, but it doesn't look too bad, and for a sort of charity product, I don't really have any issues with it. To that end, I actually bought 2 of these because I thought it was quite an interesting looking kit. I didn't want to have to pick one or the other paint scheme, so I'm actually going to do it in both. So what I'm probably going to do is do it as a double build, so you'll see both models built in the same video. Let me know down in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. But yeah, so generally a nice looking kit, maybe a little bit of misinformation about it on their website or in their announcement videos, or in their product range launch when they first announced it, but generally not too bad, not too disheartening to find out it's not quite the version I was expecting. What I really love is those cartograph decals, because they look absolutely superb, and it will make a very interesting, if fictional, model to display on your shelf. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Have you got one of these for yourself? As always, big shout out to my patrons and channel members on YouTube and over on Patreon, and massive thanks to these guys for the support they give the channel. If you'd like to learn more, take a look at the links in the description. And finally, one last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this video, and I will see you on the workbench again next time.